Testing, testing. So this video is gonna be kind of a response to a comment that is like months old. Because some random commenter was like, they commented on my 401 B5LH video, and then they accused me of not knowing what's actually going on behind the scenes. So they kind of said stuff like, why do you think every single B5LH appearance is rigged? And the fact is that they commented on the 401 video, whereby the 401 cameo was clearly rigged. It wasn't an e-pool or anything, or QoS, it was clearly rigged. Because apparently my video title offended them. So I'm just going to get straight to the point. So in Bedok North Bus Depot, there are currently 2 bus enthusiasts working inside there. Anyway, I'm just stating facts. Okay, so let's call them A, who used to be an intern, but has now already left SBS Transit, but is still in contact with B and C. So one of them has decided to remain with SBS Transit. The other one has decided to go to GAS. So I'll just put their ECID. So even though this guy has already left SBS Transit, he is still on good terms with B and C. Like contacts, basically. Like in essence, he still has their contacts, and A even has like the phone numbers of like other depots like Sunli Bus Park. And the one funny thing is that A even tried to call Sunli Bus Park to confirm the appearance of a B5LH cameo on 199. And then when SLBP actually received the call, they were like, oh, do you want to cancel it? Because A asked them if there was like actually a B5LH on 199. And basically SMRT was like, hey, do you want to cancel it or something? They were like really casual about it. Dude, this story just cracks me up every single time. But obviously it didn't get cancelled. I'm just saying that like A literally has like contacts of depots that do not belong to SBS as well. But basically because of said contacts, like A, even though he's not with SBS Transit anymore, he is still able to ask B and C to, you know, rig the B5LH deployments, basically. So after talking to people, I've managed to find out that A was basically the mastermind behind most of the debut stunts. Like not the debut stunts, but like the subsequent stunts, they were all carried out by mostly B or C. But pretty much every single debut stunt, A is basically responsible for it. I know times have changed. Even an intern was able to request for like model specific deployments. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, this is the explanation for why the B5LH stunts were rigged. Except for a few, like there are some like 39 or 137, like one of the appearances, like it was an actual e-poll. Like it wasn't rigged in any, like there was like an actual need to use a B5LH to cover because there was no other bus available during that time. And then there's another category whereby it's a QoS slot. They didn't really have to deploy B5LH, but the bus enthusiasts decided to take this opportunity to rig a B5LH on 65. And up till today, it has been the only appearance on 65. Like, I'm not too sure about stuff like 29 because it's pretty much like just one trip. But then some of them are like blatantly obvious that they're being rigged out. Like this one, for example. So if the B5LH does more than one trip, the chances are it's probably rigged. Or covering a bus that has broken down. And then it'll run full day, for example. And obviously you guys know that Bedok North is not as strict as like Ulu Pandan when it comes to like all the B5LH deployments in general. So allegedly this came from, like this message in itself came from Tampines like PSO, Passenger Service Office or something, like one of the people working in there, and then it was forwarded to like the enthusiast staff, I suppose, and then it was like disseminated to people, like bus enthusiasts. Okay, cause if you track which services they were rigged on, like not the legitimate, not the services whereby they were deployed on it because there is an actual need to, but the actual rigged deployments. Like the third last one was 46. Apparently, the reason why 46 was even rigged out in the first place was because it's just to commemorate the intern, like a life achievement or something. That's it. But yeah, this one is rigged out. I cannot say too much, but basically, this one was rigged out. The second last one was 299, and then the last one was... Why did I say first last? The very last ever rigged one, the most recent one was 18. So apparently there was a... those of you who went for the 46, there was a plush toy in front of the bus. And apparently it wasn't being placed there by the bus captain. It was actually... This guy was actually responsible for the plushie, believe it or not. Like, the guy who used to intern in SBS. So, he asked the BC if he could put a plushie in front of the bus, and then the BC was like really nice and accommodating. So, that explains why there was a plushie on the 46 last time. And then, he tried to do the same thing with Service 18, and the BC basically reported the ex-SBS intern to the passenger service office in Tampines North or something. I don't know, but of all the people who actually... Oh my god, like, of all the people who actually... who would actually put the plushie in front, it turns out of all people, it had to be the intern. And I just cannot get over it. So essentially, right, this BC was like accommodating. This BC got fed up with the intern, the ex-intern, and reported him. And that's how the message even got out in the first place. Oh my god. So after this incident, you could probably take it that they probably wouldn't continue with the rigging, stunting anymore, except this one. I mean, at least for the SBS side, because I know 298X has been renumbered, but yeah, basically, every, I think 11 a.m. or 12 a.m., like, okay, not every, but every late, during late mornings or early afternoon, or during noon, basically. Okay, late morning and early afternoon, which is like 12 p.m. Yeah, 11 a.m., 12 p.m. If it happens to be, okay, how should I put it? if there was a B5LH on this service, they could do like a 1 or 2 trip crossover to 4 or 37. Usually it's 2 trips, and then like crossover trips, and then they would go back to 298X. So the thing about this is that it doesn't necessarily have to be a B5LH. It could be any other bus model. It could be A22, it could be KUB, it could be Citaro, blah blah blah. But essentially, these are like extra trips on 4 and 37. I've confirmed with other people it's only 4 or 37. It's not 19, it's not 29 or like any other bus service. Yeah. And because it's an extra trip, right? The split shift BCs who drive 298X, if they were to perform these 1 or 2 extra trips, they would be paid overtime. So obviously this thing doesn't happen every day. It's just as and when the BCs want to overtime, and then they are able to be accommodated. As in like SBS is able to accommodate them. I'm just using SBS very loosely. If they are able to accommodate, they would just let the 290X crossovers. What am I saying? It's like they would basically just let the BCs do 2 extra trips. So it's like a crossover. Don't worry, they still have lunch break and everything. It's just they are split shift BCs who are given the chance to overtime by doing extra trips on 4 and 37. Usually 1 to 2 trips. And this one isn't rigged or anything. This is all natural. So when it comes to like B5LH deployments, in total, there has been like 6 appearances of B5LH on Service 4. And then there has been 4 appearances on 37. People actually kept track of that. Again, right, after the incident, I don't even know if this will still happen. I mean, the crossover trips will still be a thing because it's opportunities for overtime for the bus captains. But whether they will still put a B5LH or not, I don't know. Because a lot of bus enthusiasts, when it was like kind of announced that some B5LHs would actually go over to ECID, GAS, a lot of enthusiasts thought it was like a really groundbreaking thing, but it's literally just changing the operator logo. Not much is going to be affected, because you take a look at the depots right now. There's this, and then there is Sungai Serangoon Depot, which is the one near KP and Tampines Road. The one near the river, basically. That's the reason why it's even called Sungai Serangoon in the first place. And this one is basically for Tampines. And then this one would basically be for Pongo and Parceris. So apparently the BYD B18, that Bendy bus, the one that's gonna trial on like 293 based on what my intel was saying, it's going to go over to ECID and not as in like the trial wise. I'm not sure about Sungai Serangoon, but it's gonna go inside ECID when it's trialing on a 293. But the reason why I even brought this up to you is because when Loyang Depot closes down, since ECID is already for Tampines, this one, it's most probably the replacement for Loyang Depot. And the thing is, the reason why I even brought this up is because unlike last time whereby SBS could literally, they had like a lot of freedom to decide whether they want to like, whether they wanted like single depot control or like dual depot control or what. Nowadays it's not that flexible anymore, because nowadays they actually, this is why I tend to get a bit lost in modern day bus conversations, because they keep talking about like packages. That's all I hear from people. But just saying, because I come from a time whereby they had more freedom, that's why I'm not really used to it. But again, according to like present day rules, I would say you could take it that Okay, where's my cursor? Okay. This one is for Tampines, and then this one is for Pongo Pasir Ris. So it is highly unlikely that they would send the B5LH over here because it just doesn't make sense. Like, they would just be confined to ECID. And as long as there are no like package swaps, like service swaps between packages or anything, the B5LHs wouldn't be able to run on like Pongo services or Pasir Ris services unless they pull off some sort of like emergency pullover, which I don't even know if it's allowed in the first place. But yeah, I know SMRT they do this kind of stuff, but I don't know whether like Go Ahead wants to pull it off or not. But you can just take it that the reason why I say it's not groundbreaking or anything is because it's literally gonna be the same services that the B5LH could spawn on. And I mean, like, the intern that is like, I just realized like my screen quality is a lot better right now that my screen got replaced. Okay, so basically there wouldn't be any changes, right? So because GAS, they aren't as strict as SBS Transit when it comes to like bus deployments in general. They could literally let any model run on any service provided the BCs are trained. Like, they're just not as they're more like lax when it comes to like deployments in general. So the thing is, as long as this guy still exists, I mean, as long as he still has contact with like the bus enthusiasts who are working in the industry, it is technically still possible for the B5LHs to get stunted. Like, even if SBS decides to stop them, you know, he could capitalize on the GAS side to keep stunting stuff in general. I'm sorry guys, I just cannot keep a straight face when making this video. But basically, right, the B5LHs, they, unless some sort of like depot transfer happens, you can just take it that the B5LHs, they wouldn't appear on any Pongo or Pasir Ris services. It just doesn't make any sense. And yes, I do understand that there is this thing called service tree, and I do know that service tree, it shares Tampines interchange with the bus services from this package. So if you really wanted to do some sort of like pullover, you wanted to pull over the B5LH to cover this service, well, I'm not sure if it's like within the rules or not, but you know, it's not totally out of the question. But yeah, essentially nothing is gonna change. Just saying that the reason why there are even B5LHs is because of this service. And yeah, the remaining B5LHs that do not get transferred over to GAS, they would still continue to do the service. Perm this service, basically. But all in all, the B5LHs are meant for 298 and not any other service. But obviously this is not gonna stop the enthusiasts, like the intern, from asking the actual depot staff to rig cameos within GAS Tampines package. So yeah, just putting it out there. Because now that I think of it, he probably only joined SBS because he wants to rig deployments. I'm not sure how GAS is gonna do things, but technically this arrangement is still possible. It's just that instead of crossover, GAS would probably call it like interline or what? Cloud bus, blah blah blah. Whatever the lingo for like bus enthusiasts is nowadays. I am so out of touch. Just a quick recap. This guy, ex-intern, still has contacts with Bedok North Depot bus enthusiast staff, still has contact with the one that's gonna go over to GAS. This guy likes rigging deployments. he will ask him to rig stuff. And if it's not B5LH, it'll probably be like Euro 5 A22, like the green ones, or even the Pixel one. I'm not sure about, I don't know, but basically this guy likes to rig deployments. So I hope this answers your question as to why the B5LHs in Bedok North Depot, the deployments are more often than not rigged, which is unlike in the past whereby SBS, like let's say the CNGs, they used to be super strict with the deployments, blah blah blah, but nowadays it's like a completely different story. Anyway, this video isn't meant to like shame anyone. I'm just trying to explain what really went on behind the scenes, the ones that most enthusiasts don't know about. In case I get accused of not knowing what really goes on behind the scenes.